let me get to Kim Davis, Mike Huckabee, and Morning Joe. As much as I dislike Morning Joe, I had a wonderful clip from Morning Joe dealing with Mika, I think it was Brzezinski, asking Mike Huckabee about Kim Davis. I want you to listen in.
Mike Huckabee, I asked you a question. Would you support a clerk who would not give Kim Davis a third or a fourth marriage license? You.
I'm not sure if I follow that question, Mika,
because if a clerk says, I'm sorry, I don't think you should get married more than once or twice, and you're asking for your third or your fourth license.
You're asking a question of a different nature. That's a different nature, Mika.
No, I'm not.
Yes, it is,
asking, would you support that
there's
clerk?
There's a difference between a marriage between a man and a woman and a marriage between two men or a marriage between two women.
So you would support
We're not talking.
the clerk.
No, let me answer your question.
I'd love it.
Okay. What we're talking about is whether or not we can redefine marriage, not whether or not that a person can have more than one, because the law clearly says what people can do. They can have a divorce. We have laws for that.
I think
we have
the law
laws
says
for
you
marriage
can get
and
married
remarriage.
now as a gay person. So if you're
Well, what law is that, Mika?
law,
Can you quote me the statute? Can you quote me the specific statute, or can you tell me and let me know what article of the Constitution that says that same-sex marriage is under the jurisdiction of the federal government?
Well, it's a Supreme Court decision. We've had this same conversation with Brown v. Board, with Roe v. Wade. But
it requires, Joe, it requires an agreement on the part of the other branches of government. You can't have just one branch.
So let me ask you this.
Okay, let me stop him there because that's pretty much the entire clip. But first of all, let me give a clap to Mika. Those sound effects are really loud. Let me bring that down a little bit. Let me give an applause to Mika for actually hitting Mike Huckabee on the issue and making him get to the point where he could not speak any further, and all he could do was try to deflect. When he said, I don't think I understand the question, that reminded me so much of the Rachel Dolezal incident, where the reporter was like, are you actually black? And she said, I don't understand the question. But besides that funny part, she asked him the question that we all want to know of Kim Davis. Kim Davis, who you've been married 4 times, could I, as a devout Christian, deny you a 5th marriage license because what you're doing is contradictory to my religion, and I feel like I am complicit with your sin by signing my name on your marriage certificate. And of course, Mike Huckabee could not answer this question because Mike Huckabee absolutely knows that if we allow Kim Davis to do what she's trying to do in Kentucky, then we have to open the door and allow everyone else to do likewise. We have to open up the door and say, you know what, I'm a Muslim, I'm a devout Muslim, and I cannot sell you this ham because I can't touch this ham, and I don't believe that you should be eating ham. Ham is a sin. If we start opening up that door, then we're going to open it up to everyone. You can't open it up only to people with whom you agree. And that is what conservatives have always been masters of. They want privileges in the United States that are only for people with whom they agree. They don't want these rights to be extended to people who have a different faith, who have a different ideology, who have a different orientation, who have a different lifestyle. They absolutely are opposed to anyone having the same privileges that they have if they are not in the same ideological and religious spectrum as they exist. And so once she asked him that question, Mike Huckabee could not answer. And he tried to deflect and talk about, well, it's a different question. But no, it's not a different question, because we're not talking about how the Bible defines marriage. We're talking about how the government executes marriage licenses. And so you can argue all day long about how the Bible defines marriage. That's fine. You're a preacher. Go do that. But do that in your church. Don't do that in the governmental office where an elected official has been charged with carrying out and executing a license that has been approved by the highest court of the land. Now, he tries to get into this argument about the Supreme Court not being able to, of course, they can't pass laws. But he's trying to get into this place where he's arguing a nuance that the U.S. Supreme Court cannot make laws. And we've been over this, like Morning Joe actually said it. We've been on this, Joe, whatever his last name is, Scarborough, there you go. We've been through this for years. But Mike Huckabee says, let's resort to this old argument that was used against the 14th Amendment, that was used against black people being considered citizens, that was used against women having the right to vote, that was used against segregation of schools, the Brown versus the Board of Education. Let's go back to the same argument where the Supreme Court has either ruled and their ruling has had the effect of law, or they have interpreted the Constitution and other laws, which also has the effect of law. And let's dismiss the court's ability to make rulings that carry the effect of law because we don't like this particular ruling, because we don't like Roe versus Wade, because we don't like the Brown versus the Board of Education. Let's dismiss the court's entire ability to pass, to make rulings that carry the effect of law, effectively castrating an entire arm of our government, all because you don't like and don't agree with a particular ruling. But had this ruling been in their favor, they would have rallied and championed behind the Supreme Court and heralded the Supreme Court as this magnificent arm, and they would have recognized the fact that the law, that the decision rather, carried the weight of law. This is the hypocrisy of conservatives. This is the hypocrisy of evangelical Christians who are political. This is the hypocrisy that we see on the right all of the time. If you agree with us, we love you, and it's the law, and the courts have ruled, and the ruling was just, and justice has been served. But if we disagree with you, then it was a complete miscarriage of justice. It is disgusting. We have an activist court, and their ruling does not carry the weight of law. You can't have it both ways. Either you're going to recognize all of the rulings of the Supreme Court, or you're not. And it doesn't matter if you don't, because the rest of us are.